everybody. I'm sorry in advance if the audio is not synced. I don't know what it sounds like because I have CarPlay going. But I just made a sound sample video and it seemed like it was playing back fine. But my spirit is compelling me to share a message about validation and where you're getting it from. And this message is also meant to encourage those who listen to the voice of God, listen to their intuition, act on that, follow that, and those who feel like they're sort of leveling up, so to speak, and stepping into territories with their intuition and their faith, their walk in God and whatnot. Sorry, I just got distracted because a notification came up on my phone. And I'm also trying to drive, so bear with me here. But yeah, those who are kind of stepping even more fully into their walk with God and their faith in themselves and in their intuition, it's almost as if the things that you, and I have my cat as a passenger. She's the best, but she just sat up, I guess, because when we drive under bridges, she sees the shadows and she kind of like looks up and whatnot. Yeah. Anyway, some of you who are watching this and who need to hear this could be going through a time where it's like you're coming up against yet another layer of these obscurations that block you from really honoring your spirit and allowing it to shine and allowing yourself to be connected with who you are truly. And you could be expressing yourself more, stepping more into this higher version of who you are. And when I say higher, I mean free of obscurations and clear. A clear version, crystal clear version of yourself. Like the debris in the mirror of your soul is being uplifted and cleansed. And so there's something that if you walk this path, you may already know, but if you are just stepping onto this path, I just want to share these words that the more you honor your intuition and honor the voice of God and honor what your soul calls you towards, first you know how to you need to know how to discern the difference between your soul, the voice of your soul, God, intuition, etc., and your flesh, your body, and noise and ran out of storage there. But I was saying, once you understand the difference between those voices or those guidance systems and you learn to act on them, something will begin to happen where, and it's kind of weird because it's new. It's like a new level of faith that is deeper than you've ever experienced. And you find synchronicities and like kind of spiritual omens, confirmations around you and in things that different people around you speak about or say. It's like there are these patterns and they become so undeniably consistent. And they come from the outside and they line up with the voice of your soul. And I'm telling you, the more you act on your intuition, the more you act on your faith and on what your soul is telling you, even if it's uncomfortable, even if it's scary. And I promise you, for the record, it's really not so scary once you're kind of in it and doing it and you do it. And it's just, there's this liberation and this enlightenment and freedom and, space to breathe that comes with airing out your soul. So yeah, but the more you do it, the more validation you will receive from the patterns and confirmations around you, from things you overhear, even from things that pop up on your social media feed, from things that, signs that you see, numbers, phrases, letters, circumstances, all of these things begin to literally like fall in front of you one after the next when you honor your soul. I know this is a universal kind of experience, and it's also something that I'm, you know, experiencing these days. And it's like I've been, you know, speaking so much more freely than I have in the last couple of months. And I'm so grateful to be sharing on YouTube, because it feels like a place where I can open myself up and, you know, just wait to be received by people who, you know, are made for me, and that I am made for as well. You know, people who are mutually compatible with me, instead of people who, you know, don't live or practice or, you know, experience or understand the same values that I do. And it is scary, and it does take courage to be who you are in a world filled with voices that, you know, counteract who you are. And I will share a quick little story. There was a point in my life where, you know, I wasn't really, there are still some things in my life that I feel like I don't have physical community around to kind of relate to, and that's really what I'm after. It's what I want. And so I'm embracing myself in these, you know, more, or I should say less talked about parts of myself. I'm embracing them and sharing them on a platform where I trust that the people who are, you know, my kin, they will find me. And I also want to encourage those who are experiencing something similar. You know, you're longing for your tribe, your community, and maybe you already have really significant, deep connections. I know I do. And, you know, still, there's more. My soul longs for more. And my soul knows that there's more depth available, more connection available. And yeah, more depth. I am a multifaceted being. We all are. And we deserve to experience the glorious possibilities, you know, that are here on earth in this creation for us, in terms of the types of relationships, the types of connections and experiences that we can have, and the level of like validation that we can feel. You know, it really, I believe it has to come from inside first. You know, even if we're surrounded by people who are accepting of us, we can't actually experience that acceptance until we, you know, embody and free these parts of ourselves that are longing to come out and to connect. And it is a risk, because it means, what is it that somebody said, you know, being yourself and subjecting yourself to the opinions of others, it doesn't, I should say, being yourself doesn't change how people feel about you. It illuminates how they already feel. So in a sense, there's literally nothing to lose. There's only, you know, something to gain from sharing yourself authentically, and from my perspective, where I stand right now, you know, not to impose that, you know, you should do anything, or that you really aren't safe, because I can't speak for anyone else but myself and, you know, people who can relate. And I say this because I understand that sometimes it's literally not safe to be who you are, because historically, you know, speaking out could have gotten you exiled from your community or killed. And that's still something that a lot of people face on a maybe less severe or like mortal level. But, you know, think about controversial topics, you know, think about politics, think about health, think about spirituality, think about religion, think about things that you have experiences or opinions in, whether it's related to those topics I just named or not. Think about things that are personal and real to you. And imagine stating your opinion, stating your truth in a room full of people who would cancel you in a second if you were to say it out loud with no charge or anything, just expressing yourself, just saying, sharing who you are. And that's something I know a lot of people have faced, and I'm one of those people. And you know what? While I'm here, I hope that this message has reached who it needs to reach. But I will just share another little personal bit to hopefully encourage those who need to hear. I don't know, this feels really weird, but it's uncomfortable, but I feel compelled to share specifically that one or a few of the things that I felt like I couldn't openly own were my, conservative values. For being a free spirit, I have pretty conservative values. So there's one thing, just in life and in general, and especially in relationships and in politics as well. And I don't want to get into politics super deeply. And to be honest, it confuses me. And I think that there are, good things on both sides. But there are also very bad things on both sides. And there's so much information out there, and I don't know what to trust and what to believe. And it's overwhelming, and even if something is going on in the world that's real, that there are accounts of, somehow people like to argue or whatever. And I'm not trying to get into that. I'm just using this as one small example to talk about how, in some circumstances, being yourself will, get you canceled or whatever. But it has nothing to do with you. If you speak a truth, if you speak your experience, if you speak your observations, with no strings attached, it's like you're not a person who's so closed-minded that you're not willing to learn. But when you open up your mouth to have a conversation or express a value or express something that's personal to you, whether it's related to politics or not, how other people respond to you is completely a reflection of them, especially if you've checked yourself and you're coming from, a curious, neutral kind of energy. And that's another thing. Like sometimes, energy is so impactful. And if we are approaching a conversation from a place of anxiety and anticipation, it's more likely that we're going to get that back, And because of that, I've kind of gotten to a point where I don't even bother sharing some of my, personal beliefs or opinions with people who kind of show me who they are already and show me that they are set in their kind of way, as opposed to, someone who's genuinely curious and reaching out to have a conversation, a two-way conversation, which I think is kind of rare. It's pretty rare. So, I want to share this to do a couple of things. One, because sharing these things is always cathartic. Two, because these are my personal struggles and lessons and, spiritual, emotional, soulful insights and wisdoms and things like that. And I know that sharing them can be beneficial for people who need to hear them. So I just want to encourage you that, you don't have to feel alone in your beliefs and in your view of the world and in your way of experiencing the world. You are allowed to be who you are. You are allowed to talk about what you want to talk about. And I would suggest to do so in a context where you feel empowered. Because whatever people say, it should not have any bearing on you. It does not have any bearing on who you are, truly. So open up your voice, express yourself, be who you are. Don't fight people if they want to fight. I mean, if you want to fight, it's your choice, but I think it's a waste of energy for me. It's like, say your piece and either connect or move on. But, and I say this also because the weight of being inauthentic, the weight of withholding my expression is painful. And I'm pretty tolerant, I'm pretty patient, I'm pretty quiet, you know, when I need to be. I know how to be all those things. But I don't want to live my life that way. I want to live my life where my voice is freed and where my, you know, unique experiences, opinions, beliefs, values, where they are recognized, validated, and reflected back to me in a way that is empowering. So I'm putting my voice out there, and I don't need anybody's approval. I don't need anybody's validation, but I'm doing this so that I can be free. And I know that there are God knows how many other people on earth, and also who are watching this right now, who also could, you know, be served by freeing their voice and not needing to depend on any external validation, but also to be encouraged by the fact that the more that you honor your soul and what lives and breathes inside of you, your life force, your spirit, the more that you honor that and let it be free, literally let it expand its wings and fly. You don't need anybody to watch you flying in the sky to be flying. An airplane doesn't wait for you know, all its passengers to look out the window and watch it take off the ground for it to actually take off the ground. You know what I'm saying? We don't need that kind of validation or acknowledgement to be who we are. And sometimes we go long periods of time without getting any of it. And I've been through that, and I know how lonely it feels. It feels isolating. But you know what's more isolating is kind of being who you are and being around people, being who you are, and feeling like these people can't see you, they can't understand you, and it's like you're talking to a brick wall with them, and they don't even want to understand who you are. That's more lonely and isolating than separating, in my experience, and separating myself from you know, situations where people are not capable of receiving who I am and my expression. And I consider what I express to be, you know, hugely part of who I am. So may this encourage you. May you receive the validation you deserve for being a brilliant, unique soul. Nobody else is like you. And this gorgeous lightning just struck in this cumulonimbus cloud right in front of me. Haven't seen any lightning this whole drive, but the cloud has been hanging out there in the sky the whole time. So I think that's extra encouragement. And you know, lightning symbolizes a flash of insight, innovation, and it's connected with the zodiac sign of Aquarius, which is a sign of, again, innovation and uniqueness and individuality. So do not be afraid to beam your light in this world. Of course, protect yourself. Take whatever measures you need to protect yourself, and be encouraged to prioritize the freedom of your soul above people's opinions, especially if they're not threatening your safety, your life, your health. You know, you deserve to feel free. You deserve to walk around on this earth, to take up space, to feel confident without needing people to look at you with stars in their eyes. Let people turn their heads. Let people be turned off. Let people be disgusted. Let people be judgmental. They're gonna be that anyway. They're gonna do that anyway, and that's them. And your authenticity just revealed that about that other person. It has nothing to do with you. So shine, my friends. Okay? Thanks for watching this. I hope you were uplifted. If you want to work with me further and receive a reading, I have information about those below. I'm also an artist. I have visual art. I do photo, video stuff, creative direction, illustration, painting. I make music. I am a writer. And I also help people cultivate intuitive and psychic abilities. And I have a little masterclass on that, where I take you through my own process of cultivating psychic abilities, and you can kind of learn about how to do that and how to observe like your own blueprint and the nuances of how you relate with your own intuition. And I will be creating more content around how to cultivate the voice of your intuition. So if any of this is interesting to you, feel free to send me a message here or on Instagram at Rustic Peach. All the info's in the bio. Love you so much. Talk to you soon.